What's happening, team? Welcome to another episode of the Thrive Forever Fit Show. If you are participating this week, well, not this week, today's episode 10 of 12 Days of Gratitude. I've been coming at you every single day with a new guest, talking about gratitude, talking about my love for these people and why they are so important to me in my life. And they're just sharing some gratitude with you. And today's episode, I say this all the time, and you're gonna meet a person today that I just almost got a little teary eyed. You're gonna meet a human being today that is super special to me. He's like a we're I call everybody brother, and this guy is as close to family without being family that you could possibly ever know. And he's super special to me. I call him my hype guy. He believes in me so freaking much, it's actually ridiculous. If I always joke with Lori, I'm like, if I'm ever having a bad day, all I have to do is call Jerry, because he is the ultimate hype guy. He makes me feel like I could climb Mount Everest today. Just get me there and I'll climb to the top of it. So guys, you're in for a treat. If you're part of my local studio crew, we use the Schedulicity scheduling app for all the studio activity. Jerry is actually the founder and creator of Schedulicity. Lives in Bozeman, Montana. I go there every opportunity that I get, but not only because it's beautiful and gorgeous there, but just to be around Jerry lights my soul on fire. He is my brother. He's family to me. I love him. I'm just going to get him in here. Guys, meet my buddy Jerry, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Jerry, my brother, welcome to the show.
I'm excited to be here. I've been looking forward to it all week.
Well, you know what? There's nobody, when I started thinking about gratitude and people that I'm grateful for, there's nobody higher on my list than you. I was talking yesterday to Lori because she was asking how the show was going, who I was, interviewing. And, I said, well, obviously I've got Jerry on. And she's like, there's no better if you don't feel good about yourself, if she's talking about me, she's like, if you don't ever feel good, she's like, you just call Jerry. I don't know anybody who loves you more than he does. And I was like, you know what? You're right.
Well, it's true. As I said a moment ago, you're one of the few things I would stand in line for.
And I appreciate that. And the sentiment is 100% the same way. So you know how grateful I am for you. Like you're as close to family that I have that's not actually blood family. And I question that sometimes. I think we should maybe get a DNA test just to make sure I'm not like a long lost cousin or something. But I appreciate the way you show up for me in my life. And I've got an immense sense of gratitude for you. And so that's why I wanted to bring you on, because you're somebody that I really care about. And the world that we're living in right now is chaotic and crazy and nuts, for lack of a better term. But I don't care what situation I've ever seen you in, you always have an ability to find the silver lining or the rainbow or just the happiness. And so I
Yeah.
wanted to bring you on so you could tell people, like, how are you finding gratitude right now, Jerry, in just such a crazy world?
Um, you know, it's um, it's hard. There's like a lot of things,
Yeah.
right? It's like um, uh, you and I think one of the reasons I've always been drawn to you, the more that I've gotten to know you, is I think we're very similar in a lot of the ways that you just brought up. I think that one of my mentors once said to me, same guy that you've heard me quote before, there's mornings I wake up and I wish he only knew, like in heaven, all these years later, how much I still think about things that he said.
Yeah.
One of the things that he told me, used to say, is that we live in a world of a million things, and you don't get to control 99% of it. You have no control over. You wake up in the morning, you hopefully put your right leg in the right pant leg. And from that moment on, there's a lot going on that we have no control over, obviously. But there is things that we do have a control over. And he always used to say that, you know, put your effort in the things that you can control,
Right.
and don't get caught up in all the things that you don't have any control over. And so it's just one of those things that has stuck with me all these years. I was probably 25, 24 years old when he used to say that to me. But I think that there is unimaginable truth to that thing, because obviously, literally, we control very little in our world around us. But there is a lot we can control, and one of them is our attitude, right, and the way that we approach things, and how we let things going on in the outside affect us, right?
Right.
And listen, you're the first guy I always turn to, in times like that, because that's, if somebody was to ask me to describe you, I would sum it all up in that one sentence. You're a person that constantly talks about, your mindset. Well, your mindset has nothing to do with anything that's going on outside. It doesn't have to do with whether I can go anywhere, or I can go to a restaurant or not, or whether or not the governor of California is going to shut down everything again. If I was worrying about all of that stuff every minute, I would be on a lot of drugs,
Right.
and I would be getting zero sleep.
Totally.
So I really try and concentrate on all the things I can control. And getting back to your original question, one of the things that I can control is the way I think about things, right? And the way I let things kind of affect me. And so, I really try and concentrate on those things. And so when I get up every morning, I can control, how my relationship is with Tiffany. I can control to a certain amount, how things are going with my daughters and my friends around me. And so I try and really just put all my effort into the things that I can control. I can control what goes on at this company. I can
Yeah.
control, all those things, and I'm grateful for that. And I try and think about that all the time. Just the fact that I have the opportunity and the power to control the way I feel about things, and how I let exterior things, affect me. And I try not to. And I find during this time that it's made me, the silver lining, if there is one, is that it has made me even more appreciative of the fact that I do have control over really important aspects of my life and my business.
Totally.
It's made me even more grateful for people like you that I have in my life, because listen, I've been friends for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years or something like that, maybe
Gosh, I think
5 years.
I think even
Yeah.
longer than that. I mean, this was
Yeah.
circa LA, and I don't even, but we're going on probably like eight so years. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so if you think about it, we've known each other for a long time, but I feel like, our relationship has grown closer over this last year,
Totally.
because we've been able to talk a lot more. We've been
Yeah.
able to support each other a lot more. And so I'm super grateful for those opportunities, because I don't know that those opportunities would have happened. I have
Sure.
friends that are close to me, that I've known all of my life, that I've spoken to more in the past 6, 8 months than I spoke to in the last couple of years, and we're really close.
Yeah.
So, I think that I think we should all be grateful for the fact that, we all have choices
Yeah.
when we wake up in the morning. And for me, I choose to be grateful, and I choose to be thoughtful about things around me.
You brought up something that whenever you were just talking about the company, and I think this is important because when you said this really resonated with me. So in the intro, you guys heard me talk about Jerry being the founder and the CEO of Schedulicity, the online scheduling company that I use for all of my studio and all of my coaching and everything. But what do you think this, and or why do you think this is, Jerry? Is it because your energy trickles down? But I can tell you this: when you walk into a Schedulicity office, um, I feel like everybody in the building knows me, even if they don't. They
Yeah.
treat me like they know me. I mean, you would think the Dalai Lama is walking through the room, and then guess what? Lori's behind me or in front of me, and they treat her the same way, and the next person the same way. It's just an amazing group of people, and I've got to feel like that there's like the power of proximity
Yeah.
and the leadership that you've instilled by just being who you are. That's trickled down because everybody in the company treats me the same way that you do, and most of them probably don't even know my name. So I mean, what do you think about that? Like you being able to influence other people to be grateful and thankful and those things just by your own presence.
Um, Well, first of all, thank you. And in all fairness, you and Lori are kind of rock stars over here. So, so I thought I wanted to
I
make sure that you
appreciate
knew
that.
that. Matter of fact, I told everybody today that I was doing this with you today, and everybody was really excited and wanted to
Oh,
know how they could hear it. So anyway, I mean, I think for me, it's the same thing. First of all, I've just always been the kind of person that, if I'm going to do something, I want to do it in a place that I enjoy being. If I'm going to do something, I want to do it around people that I enjoy being around.
yeah.
I'm just, I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always worked for myself for the most part, for most of my adult life. You know, and I do that for the singular reason that I can control those things. Yeah, I'm not going to work with people that bring me down. I'm not going to
Yeah.
work in an environment where you're not edifying the people around you. And so it's important to me. And I think if it's important to you, it's easy to kind of convey that message. The second thing is I really believe in what we do here at Schedulicity. I believe in what Schedulicity does to help small businesses all over this continent, and so I find that when I'm talking to people around me here at Schedulicity, I always try and I always try and remind everybody or try and make sure that they're always conscious of what we do for people, because I
Right.
find that the more that they're aware of the why and the what we're doing for people, the rest of it happens kind of naturally.
Yeah.
When you're excited about what you do and the impact that you're having on people, and you're an environment that inspires you, I think all those feelings come naturally.
So you know what? This is not. I feel like this is so important that we talk about this. This was not designed to be a Schedulicity sales pitch or anything like that. But I feel like we need to. I want to tell people about this because I think this is what gratitude looks like when you really you do what you just said. And I think a lot of people say that. A lot of people say, "Oh, I believe in my company. I believe in this. We're customer service and blah blah blah." What Schedulicity did and what you facilitated was probably, I mean, I'm 46 years old. I've been in business since I was like, started working when I was 18, had my own company for the last 15 years. I've never seen another company do this for its clients. And so when did you guys, so guys, just let me give you a quick background. So what Schedulicity is, it's an online scheduling platform, marketing, emailing, you name it, payment services, estheticians, hairdressers, gym owners, I mean, plumbers, down to service based industries would probably be the best way to describe that. You guys started giving away the service for free, Jerry, whenever this pandemic hit. And when did you start that? And how long did you guys do that for?
Uh, I announced it, and we did it on the 14th of February this year,
14th
and
of
we
February.
and we did it all the way through to October 1st.
Give it, guys. I mean, I can't even quantify the number of the dollars that you guys basically said, hey, we're going to give you small business owners to put back in your pocket. And I think people forget this as well. Like, you still had to keep operating. You still had to
Yeah,
pay employees. You still had to have computer services and systems and everything
yeah,
going. And so I think it was a monumental piece of gratitude that you guys gave to your clients. And the only reason I bring that up is because I think in this world of like social media highlight reels where everybody's talking about, you know, how great they are and how much they do, you guys, facilitated by you as the CEO, you guys actually did that. I mean, you guys actually showed immense gratitude to your customers and your clientele. And so that, guys, is what I think of when I think of Jerry. And that's on a big level. But the only reason you did that is because that's who you are as a human.
well, I mean, for me, it was an obvious decision. It was scary because basically millions of dollars we
Oh yeah.
basically just burned up. But the other side of that is, how do I charge somebody to use something that the governor told them they can't, you know, do their job, and they have to shut down their business?
Yeah.
You know, I it's I I don't even know how you begin to do that. The other thing is, long before COVID, we've always been a company who has done everything we can to empower and help our community
Yeah.
of customers. So just because something like this happens, I don't think that you change who you are. I think you have to continue to be, who you are through it. And,
Right.
for us, it was the way to do it. Honestly, we were lucky early, not too long before that. It's really interesting. The reason that I was able to do this was we had, um, within, I don't know, a couple of months prior to that, I had raised some additional capital, and we didn't need the additional capital, but any entrepreneur knows what it's like to not have capital,
Yeah.
understands that you don't ever want to be there again,
Right.
especially where we are as a company. And so it wasn't even just having enough capital, but it's just like having some money in the bank. So if opportunities popped up, we wouldn't miss an opportunity because we weren't prepared. So I had gone out and raised some capital, and that was thankfully the reason that we were able, when it came time to make this decision, basically I ate up all that capital that was earmarked for some other things, but luckily I was thinking that way before all this stuff went down, and it kind of allowed us to do it because there was two things that that I wanted to do. One is I didn't want to lay off anyone at this company.
Right.
I was not going to do that. If there was any way humanly possible, I was not going to make people lose their jobs over it. And secondly, I wanted to, I felt like, if we can help all of our customers get through a very difficult time, and listen, nobody was more hurt in the lockdown than people who provide services,
Yeah.
right? People like you and Lori and my daughter, who's an esthetician, and restaurants. I mean, these people are still, reeling. And I felt like, again, we'd always been this company who is known because we care for our community. So, like I said, I didn't want to use something else as an excuse
Yeah.
not to be that person. There's some other companies out there, competitor of ours that, you know, laid off hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yeah.
But I heard through the grapevine that they wanted to do that anyway, and this was a great
Perfect
excuse,
opportunity.
to do it. So yeah, I think that you got to walk the walk,
Yeah.
and
Well,
this isn't forever. So
well, what's funny is whenever this all started coming about, and you guys made the announcement that you were going to do it. I mean, and Lori and I we're like friends of the family, right? Like we love you guys, and Michael and Jane and the whole crew. Lori was like, "Did you hear what Schedule City's going to do?" And I think she told me, and I'm like, she said it, and I was like, that that sounds like Jerry being Jerry to me. I wasn't even like shocked. You know what I mean? I was shocked because it was such a grand, it was such, I mean, me, my business brain went to, holy shit, like that's a big deal. And then I went to, but I wouldn't expect anything else. I mean, here's how I envision you doing that. You probably went into the work one day and you told Michael and the other guys, you're like, hey, this is what we're going to do. Let's figure it out. I'm going to go to lunch. We'll see you in a bit. Like,
it's pretty close. I think everybody. I don't think anybody was shocked at my thoughts.
no.
Except maybe my chief financial officer.
Well, you know what? It's his job to be shocked, Jerry. You want him to be shocked by that.
Yeah, I've never seen him. He looked at me like he'd seen a ghost. But I think even he's really happy that's the route that we went. But you know what? It all kind of ties back, because again, this is not really about schedulicity, but I think it all ties back to what you were
100%.
just saying, what you started asking me, which is what it was actually was it was another way for us to be a leader,
Yeah.
and to be a beacon for people who are need some leadership and need help. And I'm grateful to be able to be that kind of a person and that kind of a
Yeah.
company. So, you know, like I said, none of it's been fun. I think
Right.
we'd all, even though there's a lot of, I think, really positive things that have come from this, I'm pretty sure, you know, you wouldn't run into any argument to flip the, you know, forward and get back to normal again. However, um, again, I think it was a great opportunity to seize and say, once again, I can control, you know, the what this does to our company. I can help control what it does to our customers, and let's be that. And so, you know, I've been grateful every single day since we did it, because I've watched all the positive things happening. I've literally been in tears seeing some of the testimonials that come in
Yeah.
unsolicited from people who, you know, it really made a difference to them. And of course, as soon as you start to see that, you're even more grateful.
Yeah.
And so again, I think that no matter what the circumstances are, you know, there are things that you can do, to be grateful for it, and use these things as a reason to be grateful.
I'm going to circle the wagons because I think this is what I get asked this question a lot. And when I'm teaching or training or speaking, I talk a lot about like my circle of success and like how important it is to surround yourself with the right people and people ask me all the time, like, Jay, how do you find these people? Like, what do you mean like the right people and whatever? And this is why you're on today, is because I was lucky enough through the universe putting us in the same place because of Lori, because of situations and circumstances, to get to have you in my life, right? And so I think this is the valuable statement for me, is when you find people like Jerry, when you find people that have a bigger purpose, and you can sense that immense gratitude they have just for life, you need to attach yourself to those people and get around them as much as humanly possible, because they'll just make you better. And so when you talk about the schedulicity aspect, that's how you treat me on a daily basis. I mean, pandemic, no pandemic. Lori and I were just in Montana, and we were sitting out behind Plunk with Michael and Jane, and your dad, who I'd never met, walks through the door. You hadn't even came through yet, and I stood up to say, "Hi, I'm Jay," and he's like, "Oh, I already know all about you." And I mean, he knew more about me than,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And so that's who you are in my life. Is like when I said you're the ultimate hype guy, I meant that in the best way. Like, you see people, and when you love somebody, like, it's not like this superficial, weird, like, oh, only when I'm around you. It's like you are just that way 24/7. And I want to tie that in to say I'm super grateful for that. And it doesn't go unnoticed by me.
Thank you. It means a lot coming from
Yeah.
you, for
Yeah,
sure.
well, I mean, it's the truth, man. And anybody who gets the opportunity to know you is going to know that. Jerry, and wrap it up, I want to be respectful of your time. What would you say to people if you said, listen, we don't know the future. We don't know what tomorrow is going to look like you said earlier. Let's be in the moment. Let's just focus on what we can focus on. But what piece of advice would you give, or closing remarks would you give, to give people that little bit of a momentum push as we move into the end of the year?
Well, I would say I would kind of go back to where we started, which
Yeah.
is, you know, I think that, you know, there's a lot to look forward to in the new year. Holidays are here. You know, kind of marks the end of what's been, you know, you know, a little difficult, you know, more than difficult year, obviously, for everybody. However, I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot to be optimistic for. I think that our country, I think the world is going to come out of this, and I think there's going to be a lot of positive things. But I would say, if I was going to leave you with one thing, it would be what we started with, which is, you know, be grateful for the people that you have in your life, that you know, that inspire you and make you a better person. And you know, my daughter once said to me, um, think about the people that are around you when you're the happiest, right? And I think that's important. And then I think it really goes back to what we said, which was, you know, be really aware of, um, you know, what are the things that you can do in your life that you have control over,
Right.
and try and spend your resources, try and spend, you know, your energy on controlling the things that you have control over, instead of worrying about things that you can't control. Because most of the people that I find that are struggling, 90% of the time it comes because they're spending so much energy trying to control things that they're just never going to have any control over.
You're right.
And so I would say that's something that has always been really powerful for me. And that's the advice that I would give any friend or loved one, which is, yeah, just, from this day on, really try and concentrate every morning on all the things in your day that you can control. And if you put your energy there, you'd be surprised at how little all of this stuff can affect you on the
I
outside.
love that. And what you said that just really resonated with me was, and I hadn't even thought about this until you said it, but it's so obvious. Start to realize who you're the happiest when you're around them, and spend as much time with those people as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Because time is your most valuable resource. And the more you maximize the quality of that time, and if it's as simple as being around the people that make you the happiest,
Yeah.
that's a game changer right there. Jared, thank you. I love you. We could talk for hours. I just want to thank you again for coming on the show, doing this for me, and I have an immense sense of gratitude for you, brother.
I'm always honored to do it. I enjoy it.
Guys,
we'll see each other soon, I hope.
Yep. Love you, brother. I'll see you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.